Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Well, it was a real doozy of a start today. I got up about 5 o'clock, spent a couple of hours thinking about what I was actually going to be talking about today, and as per usual, I make notes. Normally a rough draft to start with just the occasional word that will remind me what to put, and then I'll sit for an hour just writing them out properly, like that. This morning when I'd finished writing the notes out, I threw the papers down onto the desk, in amongst a load of others. Thought a couple of minutes later I need to tidy this lot up. Started ripping up old, you know where this is going, don't you? You can see it. Ripping up all the old notes, and promptly ripped up all the notes that I'd written that had taken me over an hour to write out. Not the most promising start to the day. I tried piecing it together like a jigsaw, but like a dick, I'd actually written on both sides. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it from memory. So I wrote it all down again, took probably about 45 minutes. And I thought, if this is how it's going to go today, heaven help. Right, so I'll start with a message that I received last night over Facebook on Messenger. One of my colleagues at work messaged me to say, morning Daz, by the way, if you're watching this, that he was watching a screening of The Dam Busters on Channel 5. Now, as anybody will know, if you've seen The Dam Busters, you will know it is the story of Guy Gibson and basically the invention of the bouncing bomb. Now, Guy Gibson had a dog, and it had what you would class nowadays as a quite controversial name. The dog was the N-word that we're not allowed to say. And basically what Daz was saying is that they'd changed the name to Trigger. So here we go again. What we're allowed to say and what we're not allowed to say. I know the N-word is a real point of contention. It's not a very nice expression. It is not a word I would ever use in a million years. But when it is used in the context of a dog's name from, basically the movie was made about 1954 or 5, but it was set obviously during the war years. When this word was used freely, it wasn't deemed to be causing anybody any harm, and obviously this is what Guy Gibson called his dog. I have to tread very carefully here. I don't want to, but I suppose I've got to, because I don't want to get kicked off YouTube. But it just seems to me, why would you change something on the soundtrack of a classic movie like that? All you would do is what Talking Pictures TV have been doing for quite a number of years, which is put in a little warning at the beginning of a film or a TV programme from the past, which is pretty much every one they screen, saying that it may contain attitudes and language of a certain time that may offend modern sensibilities, that kind of thing. You don't just dub it over. I mean, I assume that's how it was done. I didn't watch it. But I know for a fact that word is used quite freely by the people who it is meant to offend, namely black people. Certain areas of that society do call each other that, so it seems to me that it's only offensive when it suits. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Daz, you know how to push my buttons, mate. You certainly do, and we shall talk about this tomorrow when I see you. But it just winds me up when they start tinkering with old movies and start changing things. There will shortly be nothing left of what we once knew concerning attitudes and stuff like that. The last one I heard of was the Bond films. They were going to be going through those with a fine-tooth comb and altering scenes of dialogue and stuff like that, and then re-releasing them in a box set, a cut box set. Brilliant. Can't wait for that one. So that's my rant for today. I just think it's crap. It's just rubbish. Anyway, last week's video. Got 84 views. I'm really, really chuffed with that. I'm very happy with that. It got a lot of comments. I was talking a little bit on last week's video about how uncertain I am about the videos that I do and the content and the style and all this sort of thing. And it turns out that a lot of you guys feel exactly the same. Rick, you were telling me that you get the same doubts. Dave definitely does. Dave Oliver, you have the same doubts as I do. You will sort of record a video, watch it back, think, as you said, that you can't possibly upload that. And then you do it anyway because you know you really, I mean, I couldn't be asked to record another hour's worth, not for the sake of a few mistakes. But then when I've uploaded it, I'll usually watch it back just to see how it fares, and it actually doesn't look that bad. So all I would say is to all you guys, Rick, Mike, the Fifth Beatle, Dave, Scott, all of you, just keep doing what you're doing. We've got, as you said, a lovely little community of people who are passionate about movies and just want to talk about them. We don't want to review them or criticise them or knock them or anything like that. We just want to talk about them. And that's what we do. And we should keep on doing that. We've all got, as I said last week, our own individual styles. And we all complement each other really well, I think. So yeah, to all you guys that get your doubts about what it is you upload, all that sort of thing, don't worry, honestly. I'm slowly getting over it now. I just look at the finished product and think, do you know what, to hell with it. The people that like the videos will not care that you're stammering occasionally or you're falling over words or forgetting things. As you said, Dave, it's part of the charm. It's what keeps it real. It's what keeps it authentic. So yeah, just keep on doing what you're doing, guys, because we need each other. And the best thing is that we do encourage each other. And I got that message from all the comments last week. So thanks for all of those. But yeah, we just got to keep encouraging each other to get, well, basically to just keep going doing what we're doing, because believe me, we're doing a cracking job, all of us. So yeah, that's pretty much that. Somebody was asking what's in my mug. This week it's herbal tea. Well, it's green tea. I've heard it's quite good for you. You kind of get used to the taste. It's not too bad, but apparently one of these a day is quite good for blood pressure and stuff like that, which I do have. So that's what's in it this week. It could be anything next week. I bought a jar of Bovril earlier in the week. I've yet to try that, so that could be next week's. So right, down to business. Shout outs. First of all, I got a new subscriber last week, so two actually, a double act. So I'd like to say hello to the Cult Lords. Now, the Cult Lords are JR and Dane. They're based in the US, I believe. They do basically the same as we all do. They do a lot of trailer reviews, movie reviews, that kind of thing. They both sit at a desk. They don't drink herbal tea. They usually got a glass of whiskey in their hands. So they've probably got more in common with Rick than they have with me or Dave. But I do like your style, guys. I love the backgrounds, by the way. The movie posters are fabulous. I noticed one For Your Eyes Only, the Bond movie. Really like that one. That's made me want to get one of those. Maybe replace Mr. Pacino back here with something a bit more... a bit sort of easier on the eye. But yeah, I'm enjoying your videos, mate. I've got notes here. I work from notes, by the way, in case you haven't figured it out, because I forget things all the time, so I've got it all written down. The trailer for Tulsa King. Really, really looking forward to this. I haven't got Paramount Plus yet, but I am erring in the direction of actually subscribing to it for the sake of £7 a month. I think it's going to be worth it, and it will complement the other channels that I've got, because I already subscribe to Prime, the BFI Player, Shudder, and another one. What's the other one? Can't remember. There we go. Bad memory strikes again. So yes, I think it'll stand rather nicely alongside those, and it's got some cracking stuff on there, including this Tulsa King, which I think I might have spoken about last week. It's Sylvester Stallone's first expedition into TV work. It's a gangster type of thing. Now, I wasn't sure, like you, whether it was a movie or a series. It turns out it is a series. And I read an interview in, where are we? This UK magazine Empire, I swear by this one, and Total Film. An interview with Stallone about Tulsa King. And he was basically saying that it was his way to scratch an itch that he'd had since the early 70s, when he asked the producers of The Godfather whether he could be an extra in this upcoming movie. And they said, sorry, we don't think you're the type. I mean, the man's Italian-American. He couldn't look more Italian-American if he tried, but apparently he wasn't the type. And he's had sort of a hankering ever since to either star in or make a gangster series or movie. And this is it. I can't wait to see this. It looks amazing. How the hell can Stallone look like that at 80 years old? I'm sure he's 80 or approaching 80. How is that even possible? When he's walking along swinging that bat, I mean, you wouldn't mess with it, would you? You just wouldn't. But I'm definitely looking forward to that. And also the movie Burial that you showed the trailer to. I actually tracked that down on YouTube and had a proper look at the trailer. Very intriguing. It reminded me in look of a movie called The Keep from 1983. Are you familiar with that one? I haven't seen that for ages, but the tall man with the glowing eyes, straight away The Keep came to mind. So I'd really be interested to hear your thoughts on that one. But the movie itself looks amazing. I can't wait to see that. I'm going to have to start posting more trailers on the page, I think, because there are a lot of good films that you seem to miss. And if somebody doesn't do what you do, which is just posting reviews of the trailers, I'd miss out on most of these. So I think I need to start sort of doing the same and posting those on the page. I'm glad you accepted the invitation to join the RetroMovieZone ChitChat Facebook page. Welcome to the group. You'll find us, as I've said to everybody, a very friendly bunch. Feel free to interact with the posts and all that sort of thing, and also feel free to post your videos on there. Dave Oliver posts his. I've got the Ginger Ninja Jason Kerr, he posts his. Callie and Guy of Calico Productions, they do a podcast, they post theirs on there. There's no end of people post on the group, so please feel free to join in. Post your videos on there. The group would love them. I know they would. I love watching stuff like that because it alerts us to what's on its way. And you over there in the US tend to get them a little bit before we do. So yeah, as I say, post as many videos on there as you want, guys. You'll be a very welcome addition to the group, without a doubt. So that's the Cult Lords, CULT. If you want to pop over to their YouTube page and subscribe, I've done so, and I've also added them to my channels I'd recommend page on my channel. So it's well worth a look. They've got some cracking videos on there, reviews, as I say, trailer reviews, that kind of thing. So yeah, have a look and see what you think. Just pop over. Right, Callie, appreciated the update. We haven't seen you for a bit. You're looking amazing, by the way. You look very, very different from the last time I saw you. It's good to hear that you're coming back. I'm looking forward to Honey Geeky's showing coming back, because you and Guy were part of the week, sort of thing. So yeah, looking forward to that. Hope everything's going well for you now. Love the figures in the background. I've no idea what they are, but they look cool. So, you said a word that I didn't recognise. I should have written it down, but you said you'd been somewhere. Presumably it was with reference to those figures. So, yeah, looking forward to you coming back with the podcast and all the other bits and pieces that you've got in the pipeline when you're feeling a little better. But you certainly do look the part now, without a doubt. And Guy, random Guy with these random films, 12 Monkeys. I've never seen it. I've always sort of shied away from it. I didn't realise it was a time travel movie. That might have swayed it for me if I'd have realised. So I will be looking that one up on BBC iPlayer. I can tell it's one that you're passionate about. Didn't realise either that Frank Gorshin was in it. As soon as you said his name, I thought, that's the Riddler out of Batman. The 60s Batman, the real Batman to me. Let's see. Like I say, I didn't realise it was a time travel movie, so I will be taking a look at that because I love a good time travel tale. So it's on my watch list. That's one massive mug you've got there, Guy. What the hell? It's like a bucket, man. It's certainly bigger than this one. What have you got in yours, by the way? Why have I got the feeling it's probably whiskey or something like that? Because you won off knocking it back. Curious about that. But yes, I will be taking a look at 12 Monkeys. What else have I got here? Yeah, Terry Gilliam. I mean, you can't go wrong with Terry Gilliam. He gives everything a sort of a surreal Python-esque sort of twist to it. Another movie of his that I've wanted to watch for ages but never got round to is Brazil, with Jonathan Pryce. That's another one that I need to check out at some point soon. But yes, I will be having a look at 12 Monkeys, and I'll let you know what I think of it when I finally get around to watching it. Dave Oliver, Mr. Savage Zombie Reviews. Loved the review of Friday the 13th Part 7. This is one that I've only watched probably once or twice. It's probably the one I've watched least. Not because I didn't like it. I remember this one coming into the video shop when I worked in there. It's one of the few movies that we had in that we only had one copy of. A lot of the movies we had 2, 3. Predator we had about 30. But this one we only had one copy of it. And if I remember correctly, it went out for the first couple of days and then it just sat there gathering dust, which is when I watched it. I can't remember much about it. I do remember the girl with the, I'm going to say it, telekinetic powers. You couldn't quite get that one out, could you? Was it telekinesis? Yeah, I think it was. But I didn't remember the ending. For some reason, I need to watch that again. Definitely need to watch that again. I just remember watching it the first time and thinking that it didn't have much of a cinematic feel. It had more of a sort of a television movie look to it, if that makes any sense. As for the plot, I can't remember bugger all about it. I just can't. It was so long ago. And even with that lovely tin box set I've got upstairs, I never seem to get past number 6, and I need to, because I've never seen, believe it or not, Jason Takes Manhattan, which is the next one, I imagine, on your review list. Never seen that. I've seen Jason Goes to Hell. That's probably my least favourite. I don't think I've seen Jason X all the way through either. So I really do need to go through that box set and watch them all. And also dig out the Crystal Lake Memories Blu-ray that I've got, which is basically something like somewhere between 3 and 6 hours of documentaries, interviews, reunions, sort of, you know, when they go back to, I can't remember the word, bloody hopeless this morning, location, when they go back to the locations to see what they look like now. And some of them haven't changed, even after 40 years. Some of them have not changed. But I do need to watch them again. But Friday the 13th Part 7, I have no real views on it. I can't remember much about it, apart from the fact that it had more of a TV movie feel, but I need to catch up with that one again. The Hellraiser trailer, now that looks good. I had a watch of it. Yes, it does look worth watching, so I will be taking a look at that one. As for Pinhead looking hot, are you absolutely sure about that? I don't get it. I just don't see it. But it does look good. I assume it's going to be an 18 certificate, because if it isn't, Mind you, 15s are quite brutal now, aren't they? 15 certificates. But yes, I will be taking a look at Hellraiser. Constantine, the sequel, coming many, many years after the original, which I haven't seen. I checked out the trailer, was fascinated by it, and I will be getting hold of that one and taking a look. I know you like it because you said you liked it, but I need to have a look at that one and see what I think, because I haven't seen Constantine at all. And if you'd have asked me about it, I'd have said it was something to do with angels, but I have no idea. And Keanu Reeves is in it, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, I will be taking a look at Constantine. Now then, who else have I got here? Oh, Chris. Oh, I draw ever closer to getting my 4K setup, and I'm loving these posts that you're putting on. Basically, of all the 4K releases that are coming up, now 48 hours and another 48 hours. Yeah, I wouldn't mind those on 4K, but I think I'm going to hold off to see what you say about the quality of them, because they're early 80s movies. That's my only reservation about 4K. How can you make a movie from about 1981 or 2 look any better than the Blu-ray versions? But maybe you can answer that one for me. And the other two I'm very excited about. Escape from Alcatraz, which I saw a long time ago, and High Plains Drifter, which I've also seen a long time ago. Both Clint Eastwood classics. I'm guessing they would look amazing, especially High Plains Drifter. But again, we shall see what happens with those. But yeah, loving those posts, mate. My wallet isn't, but I am. Now then, what else have I got here? Scott the movie critic. Scott. Breaking Glass. Oh, I can't believe you've not seen it. I know it's a weird one coming from me, that the amount of stuff that I've not seen. Breaking Glass, with your love of punk music, i.e. the Sex Pistols, this movie would be right up your street. It's Hazel O'Connor, Phil Daniels. It is a brutal look at the music industry as it was in 1980. It's also a brilliant snapshot of 80s Britain, Thatcher's Britain, which was not a very nice place. It was grey, it was miserable, it was all unemployment, strikes. It was pretty much a nightmare. The only bright spots to the 80s, as far as I can remember, is the movies and the music. They were all that were worth living for. The rest of it was pretty crap. But Breaking Glass is an excellent snapshot of that, and you really need to get a copy of it now. I said not to get the American Blu-ray, the US Blu-ray, which is on Amazon at the moment for about £30, I think. The reason for that is that when the movie was released in America, the MPAA, which is their governing body, pretty much like the oh God, what was it called? I'm supposed to be an expert on this stuff. The BBFC. I said this morning was going to be rubbish, didn't I? They basically deemed the ending of the movie far too depressing for American audiences. This is the same nation that had, well, about the same time, such uplifting movies as The Deer Hunter, Terms of Endearment, Midnight Express. So yeah, I wouldn't have taken that too seriously. But what they did was they cut the ending completely off after she was on stage. She finished the movie, well, pretty much. It's not a spoiler. With the movie, with the song Eighth Day live on stage, and she runs off stage, and the movie promptly finishes, and that is where the Americans, that is where the real ending starts. But as I say, the Americans thought it was too downbeat, and they cut the whole thing out. So after she runs off stage, the credits roll, end of story. What you've got here, this is the version that you want. Now this is the Strikeforce Entertainment version, digitally, oh, it's like you and your telekinesis, Dave, digitally remastered, uncut British version. You've got special features on here. Hazel O'Connor remembers Breaking Glass, the original cinema trailer, 28-page booklet, 20-page reproduction of original Breaking Glass press pack from 1980. That's the back of it, if you want to screenshot it. And what you get in here, you've got obviously the disc, like that. And in amongst all that, you've got some very nice postcards that look like that. I don't know what the hell that is. That's some German thing. I don't know. And that is obviously the reproduction of the little press booklet that you would have got if you'd have gone to the cinema. You'd have picked this up for about I don't know, £1 or something. And then you've got another little booklet which is just, again, little articles, little interviews, that kind of thing. So you get all that with the DVD, but that, if you're ordering it, it's on Amazon at the moment. It's a bit pricey. I think it's about £27. But it is the only way to watch this. It's not available on Blu-ray yet. I'm hoping that a company like Network pick this up and give it the proper Blu-ray remastered treatment that this so really deserves. The soundtrack is amazing. You will want the soundtrack afterwards. There it is. This is rarely out of the car. There you go. Will You is on there. That's the one you know. But yeah, if you're going to order a copy of Breaking Glass, it is about £27 on Amazon, but it is so worth it, and it is that version that you want, not the US Blu-ray. So there you go. The announcement of your live stream, that's exciting stuff. I'm looking forward to seeing what direction you're going to take with that. Yeah, so I look forward to watching your first one and seeing how you go with that one. I know you've appeared on quite a few in the past, which I don't normally watch them because they're normally way too late. I'm such an old lady nowadays. I'm in bed by about 7, 8 o'clock because I'm having to be up at stupid o'clock in the morning. So all these live streams that go on from like 8 o'clock till midnight, I hardly ever see them. But I know you're quite passionate about them. You like doing them. You like being on them. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what direction you take with that, mate. So good luck with it, and I hope it all works out for you. Now, Jason, I tell you what, I'm going to cut this off, and I'm going to come back with a part 2 because this is coming up to 27 minutes. Yeah. This may run over an hour the way this is going. We'll have to see. So I'll be back in a couple of seconds, folks. Hey you lot, welcome back to part 2. I'm going to try and bring this in under an hour if I can. Basically because I don't like to prattle for more than an hour if I can help it. I think that's about right. But looking at this list that I've got to get through, I might have to tear ass through it as quick as I can. We'll see how we go. If it comes in at an hour and 10 or something, so be it. Jason, moving on to you. You and Guy didn't like Mad Max Fury Road. I'm curious to know why. I haven't watched it yet. I keep meaning to have a look at that one, but for some reason I keep sort of putting it off, and I don't know whether it's because you know, I know it's a real divisive film. I know it is. Some like it, some hate it. It's a bit of a Marmite film, isn't it? But I will have a look and let you know what I think. And chances are, if you hate it, chances are I'll probably love it. But we'll see how we go with that one. The remakes thing, absolutely loving it, mate. Really loving it. Just go through some of these ones that you've put on this week. Papillon. Remember the original Steve McQueen, Dustin Hoffman version from '73? Brutal as, really nasty stuff. Devil's Island, I think it is, isn't it? I always remember the sequence where Steve McQueen got his foot broken. They basically smashed it with a rock when he tried to escape. I've never forgotten that. I haven't seen it since. This was a long time ago. I'm probably going back to the early 80s when I last saw it. I'm guessing that the newer version is even more brutal. So it is one I wouldn't mind a look at just to see how it compares, but I would really need to catch up with the original as well because it's been so long since I've seen that one. Judge Dredd and Dredd. I saw Judge Dredd a long time ago. Stallone. I thought it was all right, nothing special. I did enjoy reading the comic books, 2000 AD, the comic strip that was in that. I used to get that every week when I was a kid. So yeah, I don't know whether I want to watch Dread or not. Maybe. Lady Killers. It'd be a brave man to take on an old Ealing comedy, a classic Ealing comedy. I haven't seen the remake, mostly because I do like the original Ealing version. And like I say, if I don't know who directed the new one, but that is one brave man to take that one on. Maybe I'll take a look at it someday, but I'm in no great hurry with that one. Gone in 60 Seconds, saw the original a long, long time ago. It's from about 1974. It's an old movie, and I seem to remember enjoying it. I've seen part of the Nicolas Cage version, but not all of it. I probably watched about half an hour of it and fell asleep. I do need to watch that one again to see how it compares. The Poseidon Adventure. I love a good Irwin Allen disaster movie. I thought the Tower and Inferno was outstanding, even though it ran in at 3 hours, or nearly 3 hours. I haven't seen the Poseidon Adventure. I did enjoy The Swarm. As you know, that's one of my favourite Irwin Allen disaster movies. He also did a stinker called When Time Ran Out, which I haven't seen and I really want to see. It's set in a hotel next to a volcano. Not really got disaster written all over it, that one, has it? But no, I do need to watch the original. I haven't seen the remake. I believe Kurt Russell's in it, so it can't be all bad. Ocean's 11. Seen the original. Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., Peter Lawford, Dean Martin, the the Rat Pack, as they were. Superb, absolutely brilliant. I did enjoy the remake. It wasn't bad, actually, not too bad at all. Shaft. I enjoyed the Samuel L. Jackson reboot. I thought it was all right, and I believe they did a sequel, but I haven't seen it yet. But that was okay. But for me, the original from 1971 is it virtually kick-started the blaxploitation movement, and I've actually got some Blu-rays to show off regarding that a little bit later on. But yeah, I did enjoy the original. It was of its time, you know what I mean? Again, back to attitudes, language, sensibilities that were perfectly acceptable back in 1971, but would not fly now. I don't remember any of that stuff being in the reboot or remake, but I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've seen it, but for me, it would always be the original. And Sweeney, whoa. I have seen the remake. All they changed was the name. They called it The Sweeney instead of just Sweeney. I thought it was all right, ish. I love the original, but I was a huge fan of the series. Loved the series. I thought the casting was perfect. John Thor as Regan and Dennis Waterman as Carter. Garfield Morgan as Haskins. It was perfect. And again, it was of its time. Now, I remember seeing an interview with Ray Winston about a year before the Sweeney came out, and Parkinson asked him, he basically said, I know you've got a major project in the works, would you like to tell the audience what it is? Who are you going to be playing in your next movie? And he said Jack Regan, and the audience went crazy. And I sat at home and thought, wow, that is, if I could have picked anybody to play Jack Regan, I would have said that Ray Winston was absolutely perfect. I just don't understand how the movie was such an epic fail. I need to watch it again, preferably not thinking about the original while I'm watching it. Ray Winston was perfect as Regan. Ben Drew, or Plan B, or whatever the hell they call him, as George Carter, complete misfire. It did not work for me at all, and that's nothing to do with, only Dennis Waterman can play George Carter. It was nothing to do with that. To me, the geezer was completely wrong, totally wrong for it, and that's probably why it failed for me more than anything. But I will watch it again and see what I think this time round. I'm going back to when it first came out when I saw it, which would have been about 2012. So you took it 10 years ago. So yeah, I need to watch that one again. But yeah, loving the remake thread, mate. Looking forward to seeing what you're going to come up with next when this one's over. I'm really curious about that one. Right, I've been listening to, as you know from probably last week, Quentin Tarantino and Roger Avery's new podcast called Video Archives. I'm really loving it. For those of you that don't know, Tarantino and Avery ran a video store in the 80s called Video Archives, and when the store closed down, Tarantino bought all of the stock and put it into storage. They are now going through that stock, plucking out all of the titles, that really obscure titles that probably haven't been seen since the early 80s, and talking about them. And I'm loving it. Some of these titles, I'll read some of these out, maybe you've heard of them. One-Armed Executioner. He talked about this one in the podcast I listened to a couple of days ago. Really, really passionate about this movie. It's an old style martial arts film, revenge type thriller. And I'm really, really up for watching this. In fact, the way they talk about these movies, it really makes you want to watch them, even though you know that most of them are going to be complete and utter rubbish. But I don't know, they've got a real passion for these older movies. Welcome to Blood City, which, if I understand right, is a similar sort of thing to Westworld. So that's one I wouldn't mind a look at. Blind Rage. That was from, I think, the late 70s, about 5 or 6 blind men that rob a bank. That's pretty much all I can tell you about it. I haven't listened to the review of it, but I have managed to get hold of a copy, and I will be having a look at it at some point. Women in Cages. Now, this is one of those women in prison things. Way before Cell Block H, you've got movies like Women in Prison, Women in Cages, The Big Bird Cage, The Big Dollhouse. Here comes the dog. You can hear a little bell going. Yeah, so you've got movies like that way before Cell Block Age and within these walls. So I wouldn't mind taking a look at those. The Illustrated Man. I think this is either Charlton Heston or Rod Steiger, and it's all to do with a guy that's got tattoos all over his body, and each tattoo tells a story. It's one of those sort of 5 or 6 different stories in one film. Yeah, so that's one I'm intrigued by. The Keep, I think I spoke about this one earlier when I was talking about the Cult Lords and their review of the movie Burial, and it reminded me of this movie, The Keep. That's another one. The Relic, that's quite a recent one. That's from about 92. I haven't seen it for a long time though. Dark Star, that was John Carpenter's first movie. And they also do some of the more some of the titles that you'll be a bit more familiar with. Firefox, that's a Clint Eastwood film from 1982. And Moonraker, they did a podcast on that one. They are just so entertaining. They've got such sort of an encyclopedic knowledge of movies, because that's basically all they did when they worked at this store. They watched movies and talked about movies all day long with the customers, with the other staff. They lived movies, and it shows on this podcast. I'm loving every one. There's only probably about 7 or 8 episodes so far, but if you're looking for something to put on in the background and just listen to, this is perfect, especially if you're a film fan and you love the older, more obscure titles. Believe me, they will make you want to watch these. So yeah, if you get a chance, I get it on Google Podcasts, but I think it's available on pretty much every podcast platform, and it's called Video Archives. So yeah, recommended, definitely. Noticed a couple of new films coming out. They do sound a little bit bizarre. One called Cocaine Bear, and it's something to do with a shipment of cocaine that gets lost in the forest of Maine, and a bear eats it all and goes crazy, or does it die? I can't remember. but it's got Ray Liotta in it. Now, I believe this was one of his last movies. I mean, what a movie to go out on. Cocaine Bear. This is the guy that did Goodfellas and all that kind of thing. He was just superb. But Cocaine Bear, what a movie to go out on. And another one, the poster art for this looks absolutely awesome. Chainsaw Man. I think you posted this one, Jason, basically said this is one that Tony Harris is definitely going to watch. And you're absolutely right. If it is a genuine film, that is one that I would take a look at. Absolutely. You noticed I'm not saying without a doubt quite so much. I'm going to piss you all off with absolutely now. But yeah, Cocaine Bear and Chainsaw Man. Two movies that I will be looking out for. Let's see. Oh, done with that one. So it don't matter if I rip that one up now. Clerks 3. It is doing great business. It's got 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, or Rotten Tomatoes if you're in the US. I've been on their site. They do some cracking reviews on there, but this one I'm definitely up for watching. I really, really, really need to watch Clerks 1 and Clerks 2 so that I'm ready for when this lands, because I do want to watch it. And another one I would recommend that you take a look at if you get a chance. Kermode and Mayo's Take. They put some of their reviews on YouTube. They got a lovely studio, really, really nice. And they did a review last week of Michael Flatley. Michael Flatley's movie Blackbird. Now, Michael Flatley, I didn't realise it was the same one. Michael Flatley is what they would class as the Lord of the Dance. He was famous for Riverdance and stuff like that. And he's directed, produced and starred in this absolute stinker of a movie called Blackbird. I mean, I assume it's a stinker because of what these guys say about it. But if you get the chance, I posted it on the group a little earlier, just have a look and a listen to the review and you'll see this is the kind of review that I would never ever do. They absolutely verbally destroy this man's work, so, to the point where if it is really that bad, I really do want to see it. Have a listen to the review and tell me what you think. But from what they say about it, I do want to see Michael Flatley's Blackbird. I think that's pretty much it for the movie news and that. There's going to be a few slight changes to the channel. Nothing, well, to the content mostly. Nothing major. I'm dropping sequelophobia. I'm not stopping talking about sequels, I'm just dropping it as a feature. So I will still be watching movies, but I won't be referring to it as sequelophobia. For no other reason than I'm not. That's it. Let's see what else. Quote Encounters is going, because I think I've taken that as far as it can go. I will be introducing something else at some point, but I'm not sure what yet. The vinyl of the week will be just the soundtrack of the week, because I'm now running out of vinyl soundtracks. I thought I had rooks of these things. I must have either sold a load or given a load away, I don't know. But I haven't got half as many as I thought I'd got. So I think the best thing is just to move on to CDs, and as I discover more vinyl soundtracks upstairs, I will obviously incorporate them and show you what I've got on that one. But to call it vinyl soundtrack of the week would be false advertising, so I'm not going to be doing that one. Bin It or Keep It will be whenever I can do it. I've been cheating a lot just recently, talking about movies that I saw a while ago, and I just want to see whether they're still good, knowing full well that I probably will think they are still good. The idea of Bin It or Keep It was to watch movies that I bought completely blind, have not seen, and finally get to watch and decide whether to bin or keep, and that's what I'm going to be doing from now on. But it won't be every week. I think a lot of the time I tie myself down to all these different sort of sections and movies and things, and it's like if I watch a sequelophobia a week and I watch a Bin It or Keep It a week, that's 2 films. And then there's all the others. Now I commit myself to watching sort of 4 or 5 films a week, and I couldn't do that. I just can't do it. The only time I can watch movies, as I've said before, is the weekends. So it's usually about 2 or 3. So I think if I don't tie myself down to having to sort of watch 4 or 5 a week. It'll relieve the pressure a bit. So bid it or keep it. It's still going to be there, but it'll be an occasional thing. I'll be introducing properly Challenge Tony. I've already cracked 2 of them. I was challenged earlier in the week to watch the Greasy Strangler, which I'll be talking about a little bit later on, and also Squid Games, which I watched the first episode of. And Guy kindly messaged me and said the challenge was for the whole series, not just the first episode. Yes, I know that. I will be watching more. In fact, I'm hoping to catch an episode later this morning, but I'll be talking about that one a little bit later. But the idea of Challenge Tony is basically to recommend movies that you think will take me out of my comfort zone. You all know the kind of things that I can't watch, and please, before anybody says it, I will not be watching Gangs of London season 2, not in a million bloody years. What's the other one? Human Centipede. I've already had somebody come up and say, have a look at the Human Centipede. I don't need to have a look at the Human Centipede. I know what it is. I know what it's about. I don't know, maybe if I'm feeling particularly brave one day, I might give it a go, but it is highly unlikely. I just find the whole idea of it absolutely repulsive. So, but yeah, if you can think of anything that you think might take me out of my comfort zone, or that I might like, that you like. Movies I don't really get on with are excessively violent films, as you know. That's pretty much it. I'd pretty much give anything else a go, and even if it is excessively violent, you can still recommend it. I can still say no if I don't think I'm going to watch it. But no, it's a definite no to Gangs of London, even though somebody asked me to do this a while ago. Have another look at it and see how you go. I was traumatised pretty much by the first episode. He just started watching it, and he came to me later in the week and said, I take that back. What is Gangs of London? He says, I got up to about episode 6. He says, I guarantee you won't get past the torture of the waitress. And I said, why are you telling me this? He says, because it was me that recommended you give it another go. But maybe again, if I'm feeling particularly brave sometime, I may take it in. But I thought the first episode was just horrible. But yeah, if you want to recommend something that might take me a little bit out of my comfort zone, feel free to message me. I've done the first 2 and I'll be talking about those later. What else is this? Forgotten movie gems. I posted something last week about a movie called Nighthawks, starring Sylvester Stallone, Billy D. Williams, Lindsay Wagner, who used to be the Bionic Woman. It came about because I accidentally bumped into the trailer on YouTube, I think. Was it a podcast? I can't remember. But I do remember thinking, I haven't seen that for ages, so I've got hold of a copy. It's one of those movies that as soon as you mention Sylvester Stallone, everybody thinks they know. That was it. Somebody was talking about top 10 Stallone movies, or top 5 Stallone movies, something like that. And I put Nighthawks. That's it, Nighthawks, and Stop or My Mum Will Shoot. My God, I got some shit for that one. I thought it was all right. You all thought it was complete utter crud. But that's how it came about. And I mentioned Nighthawks, and 2 or 3 people said, I've never heard of that one. And it does go back. It goes back to about 1981. But one of the features I want to introduce, and one of the reasons I set the site up in the first place and the YouTube channel, is to talk about movies that nobody else watches or has seen or has heard of, and basically fire people up to want to see them. The way other people's reviews fire me up to want to see them, i.e. The Quentin Tarantino podcast. I'd never heard of hardly any of those movies that he talks about in the video archive, but I want to see each and every one of them, and that's what I'm hoping to do with Forgotten Gems. Nighthawks will be the first. I need to watch it again first. I've already got a load of facts and figures on it, stuff that I didn't know, but it comes highly recommended as a Stallone film. It is absolute, well, basically up there in my top three. Absolutely, it is. So yeah, that's another one I'm going to be introducing. Is Forgotten Movie Gems. I've already got two or three in mind, and if any, again, if any of you guys have got a recommendation for a movie that nobody pretty much talks about anymore, or that you think a lot of people have not seen or even heard of, by all means message it over, drop it in the comments, pop over to the Facebook page and drop me a message or whatever, and I'll be looking at some of those in the future without a doubt. But definitely, Nighthawks is going to be the first one. I'm hoping that's going to be next week, but it'll be as soon as I can get it watched. But yeah, just a few changes. It's tweaks really. It's not proper changes, but yeah, I just want to try and streamline it a bit. Just make it a bit more. It's like the snapshot that goes over the YouTube video. I want to put what I'm actually going to be talking about on there, rather than a load of categories. And it's pretty much the same categories every week. But again, I need to work on that. So, right, I'm coming up to 23 minutes. There's going to be a part 3. I can see it. I can't possibly do a top 10 and all this other stuff in that. So I'm going to draw this one to a close. And I'll be back again in a few seconds with part 3. Back in a minute, folks. Hey up guys, welcome back to part 3. Did I really just do that stupid snigger at the end of the last part? The hell was I thinking about? Right, treading new territory here, part 3. My God. I don't think this is something that's going to happen every week. It's just that there's been so much on the YouTube channel and on the Facebook group to actually talk about, that it's run over an hour. It's going to be about an hour and a quarter, I reckon, by the time I've done this. But again, if you guys give me the material to work with and to talk about, I will sit here as long as it takes to address it all. So, James Sanders, the nicest security guard in the entire world. I've got your top 10 movies to do now. We will start with number 10, Jingle All the Way. And what I like most about this list is there are a lot of titles on here that I've never heard of, and that don't get mentioned. A lot of people's top 10, including mine, would be classics like Close Encounters, The Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, all that kind of thing. So it's nice every now and then just to see a list that's got stuff that is different pretty much to everybody else's, but we'll see how we go with this one. Number 10, Jingle All the Way. That's a strange one. Arnold Schwarzenegger, cracking movie, Christmas film. Really, really enjoyed it. Have seen it. You told me that there was a remake. Why on earth would you remake something from about 1994 or whenever it was made? It's too recent, surely. But I will be tracking that down and just having a quick look at it. But I don't think anything could really top Schwarzenegger's original. But we shall see. A remake of Jingle All the Way. No, maybe not. Number 9, Transporter 2. Not Transporter 1. I've seen the original Transporter and I thought it was excellent. I haven't seen the second one, got to confess, so I can't really say much about that one. I assume it's got Jason Statham in it. So yeah, I can't really comment on that. Same as I can't really comment on number 8, It. I've seen the 90s version, the 2-part TV program, which was, I think it ran about 3 hours, which was superb, absolutely brilliant. I haven't seen the new version, either part 1 or part 2. A reason being, I'm working my way through the audio book, which is about 44 hours long. And what I want to do is finish that, which is going to be a month or 2 yet, and then watch the movies just to basically see how they compare. Number 7, Piranha 3D. Or as I know it better, Bites and Boobies. That's basically what it was. I've seen the first one. I really enjoyed it. It was all right. But it is obviously a remake of a 1978 movie, which starred Bradford Dillman and Heather Menzies, who I remember most from the TV version of Logan's Run, which was out probably around the same time. But the original movie, it was directed by Joe Dante, who made Gremlins. Cracking creature feature, absolutely brilliant. This one was all right. I thought it was okay as a remake. It was a lot more bloody and brutal than I remember the original being. But yeah, really, really good. I got the reason for you liking that completely wrong. You just thought it was a really good, fun horror movie. I thought it was going to be something more to do with the all the knockers in it. Totally wrong. Completely wrong. Let's see. Number 6, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. I've got a Harry Potter box set on Blu-ray upstairs, which I haven't started yet. Now I've only ever seen the first one, The Philosopher's Stone, which was okay, but nothing special. But I've always wanted to see the whole series, so I'm going to start working my way through that. Deathly Hallows, I think, if I remember right, was the last movie, and it was in 2 parts. Am I right? And I do remember the reviews stating that it was very, very dark, not really kid stuff at all. So looking forward to getting into that one. Number 5, Harry Potter, Prisoner of Azkaban. Now you told me this. It's the least grossing Harry Potter film ever. Again, not seen it, so I can't really comment on that one, but I will be taking it in when I get that box set out. Number 4, Return of the King. Now this is one of the Lord of the Rings movies. Again, I haven't seen. That's all I ever seem to say. No, I've not seen that one. I've not seen that one either. But I've not seen Return of the King or number 3, which is The Two Towers. I have seen The Fellowship of the Ring a long time ago. I believe I went to the pictures to watch that one. And it was, yeah, it was okay. It was all right. Having not read the books, I had nothing to compare it to. But I thought it was okay as a fantasy movie. I do want to see all of the others. And with that being said, I'll just show you. This is the box set that I got for my birthday. The Middle Earth box set, and this contains the extended editions of all 3 Lord of the Rings movies and all 3 of the Hobbit movies, all extended. They total something like 20 hours. That's without the special features. I think I showed this off on my birthday haul video, but that's the box set that I've got. And I realised the other night, I'd completely forgotten about this. I have actually got them all on DVD as well. Now these are all the extended editions. I think that one's The Two Towers. That's the Fellowship of the Ring, and that is the Return of the King. Now they're all extended editions. Now, if these were Bin It or Keep It, these would obviously be Bin It because I've now got them all on Blu-ray. So if you would like this set, I don't want anything for them, for the simple reason, if I try to sell these on eBay or Amazon or anything like that, they're going for some stupid price, like 5 or 6 quid for 3. It ain't worth it. It really isn't worth it. And I've got quite a few DVDs to go to the charity shop as it is, so they're getting quite a bit out of me as it is. So if you want this set, you are more than welcome to it. Just drop me a message and I'll bring them into work when you're on next, and you can have those with my very, very great compliments. So yeah, let me know on that one. They're all extended, so be curious to see what you think of those. Let's see, your number 1, The Blitz. Again, I'd never heard of this, so I looked it up. It's a Jason Statham movie. It's a cop thriller. Basically, there's a cop killer out there. It's set in 70s London. Now, I'm really, really hoping that it's going to be something like the Sweeney used to be, with it being 70s London, and 70s police work was notorious back then for being completely wrong. But I love the sound of The Blitz, so I've ordered a Blu-ray copy of that, which should be with me hopefully within the next few days. I've also ordered the 2 Piranha movies, 3D and 3DD. I've definitely not seen the second one. But again, those three, something like £1 each, you can't say no to that. Why bother downloading and stuff like that when you can get them for that and have them on proper Blu-ray? So yeah, I'll be letting you know what I think of those when I've actually watched them, when I get them through. Now, a couple of honourable mentions. A couple of movies that didn't quite make it into the top 10, but you probably wish they had. Shutter Island. I saw this a long time ago. It's a Scorsese film, isn't it? It stars Leonardo DiCaprio. I remember being extremely confused by it. The ending, if I remember right, made absolutely no sense whatsoever. But I will be taking another look at it. That's another one I got on Blu-ray a few weeks ago, and that was on Jason Parry's thoughts on it. Was that on your top 10, Jason? I can't remember. But you put something on about Shutter Island, and I said that I hadn't seen it for ages. And again, I picked that up on Blu-ray for about £1. So yeah, that's one I can recommend, but I didn't understand it. Hoping it'll make more sense this time. But from what you told me at work a couple of days ago, I highly doubt it will make any more sense, but we'll see. And the other one is Gone Girl. Now, this is a Ben Affleck movie. I've heard of it. It's to do with a guy whose wife disappears and he gets accused of her murder. This has got absolute rave reviews, and I can't believe I've not seen it. But that's one that I need to get hold of, so I'll be going onto Amazon a bit later, seeing whether they've got that one on Blu-ray for £1, and if they have, I'll be snapping that one up. But that is James Sanders' top 10. Now, I'm running out of top 10s. I really do need some more, guys. So if anybody watching this that has not sent me their top 10, please just message them over to me, put them on you, whatever. But I do need some more. I've got about 3 left. I've got Joe Ravens to do. I've got Steve McCartney, our Criterion guy. I've got to do his. And I've got Matt Bailey's to do. I believe, Dave Lowe, you've got something in the pipeline you mentioned last week, so I'm looking forward to getting that. So total, I've got about 4 left, and then I run out. So if anybody wants me to read out their top 10 favourite movies on this, send them over to me. I'd really appreciate it, and we can keep this going. Otherwise, I'm going to have to find something else to fill the time. Now then, reviews. The Greasy Strangler. This was the first challenge, Tony. It turned up on the Facebook group last week. Rick, old AF, sent me, put a post on there. I challenged Tony to watch The Greasy Strangler, and I put challenge accepted. Now, I watched it. I actually got to watch it last night. I cheated slightly. I watched the trailer before, and I read some reviews, and I thought it was good. I don't even know where to start. I thought it was going to be about as pleasurable as drinking bleach with a Sillet Bank chaser. But it actually wasn't bad. I went into it expecting basically a badly acted crap movie. Just basically a bad film, vulgar. That's basically what it is, but minus the bad movie bit. I'm going to read off my notes here a little bit. The producers on it, Elijah Wood. I had no idea he'd gone into producing, and Ben Wheatley. That doesn't surprise me. Me and Mr. Wheatley have got a checkered history. I love his films. I just can't watch them. The last one I saw of his was Kill List, and it was absolutely vile. It was a horrible, horrible movie. The other one I saw of his fairly recently was A Field in England, which I really enjoyed up until about the last 5 minutes, and it went all sort of Straw Dogs brutal on it. So I've sort of shied away from Mr. Wheatley's movies since then, even though I want to watch In the Earth. I daren't. Simple as. So, but yeah, they're both producers on this. It concerns 2 characters, Big Ronnie and his browbeaten son, Big Braden. Now, they do disco tours around their little town. And basically what they do is stand in doorways with tourists and basically say stuff like, this is where Cool from Cool and the Gang wrote Celebration. or it's that kind of thing. It really is. It's total rubbish. But Big Ronnie, unknown to everybody else, is the Greasy Strangler. He basically covers himself in grease and lard and God knows what, and goes around strangling folks to the point where their eyes pop out. That kind of thing. I don't even know where to start with this. I asked you, Rick, where you plucked this title from, and you said it was one of the weirdest films you'd ever seen, and you come out of it thinking, you know, what the hell have I just watched? That pretty much sums it up. It looks, well, how to say this? It looks, I'm not sure whether it was a crap movie trying to be a good movie, or a good movie that was just rubbish. The daft thing is, I really, really enjoyed it. As stupid as that sounds, it was gross. I mean, it's gross out humour to the extreme. But, it's one of those movies that I will not watch again. Almost certainly I won't watch it again. The little ditties of music are like earworms. They get in your head and they will not bloody well leave. I've still got one of them in my head now, rattling about. But if you get the chance to watch it, it is easily one of the most fucked up films I think I've ever seen. And there's stuff in that, the ending. Rick, what the hell was the ending about? The confetti. Seriously? But there's stuff in there that nobody else would ever dare tackle. But it won awards and at sort of independent film festivals and all that sort of thing. So it's obviously doing quite well, but it was okay. It's just not something that I would watch again. But it wasn't bad for what it was. The other one I got to watch was the first episode of Squid Games. Now, it was Guy that challenged me on this one. There goes the dog. Here we go. It's the geezer next door going out again. Squid Game. Now, I've only watched the first episode. I thought it was all right, but I've asked one or two people at work, and they basically say that it is amazing, but you need to stick with it. I can't think. It reminded me kind of. It was a bit like It's a Knockout for adults. That kind of thing. It was violent, but not overly violent. But apparently the best is yet to come. This is what I'm told. So I'm not going to abandon it after the first episode. I will be watching, hopefully, another one, maybe after I've done this. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was okay. Nothing special, but apparently it turns into something special a little bit later on. So I'll keep you posted on that one. But yeah, it looks all right. I'll stick with it. Right, what have I bought this week? Let's go through these very quickly. Let's see. Now, this isn't really movie related, but this was supposed to be a Christmas present, but I'm going to keep it because I love this. This is Top of the Pops, the punk and new romantic years, 1976 to 1986. And this is basically a log of every single episode of Top of the Pops. God, I hate doing this. Every episode of Top of the Pops, who was on it, who produced it, who made it, who introduced it, acts that appeared on it, all that kind of thing. It's a mammoth book. It's like 600 pages. That was going to be somebody's Christmas present, but they're going to be sadly disappointed. Either that or I'll order another copy, I don't know. But as soon as I saw this, I thought, I like that. I'm keeping that. So that's that. Let's see. That was recommended by you, Rick, and pretty much by everybody else. So I had to grab a copy of that. The Rock. Never seen it. I know a lot of people love this movie, so I want to find out why they love it. So yeah, that one's a definite. Now, we were talking earlier about the blaxploitation movement. We were talking about Shaft on Jason's sequels, remakes and stuff like that. I've ordered a couple. I really, really want to see these because I heard an interview with Pam Grier on Kermode and Mayo's take about a week ago. I thought she was fascinating. I know she's in Jackie Brown, but she had a whole career before that making movies like this, Foxy Brown. Again, I know nothing about it. It's a blaxploitation gangster type thing. That's all I know. But I really, really wanted this one, and I also wanted this one. Now, I saw this a long time ago. I remember it being ultra violent. This is from about 1973. The razor blades in the hair, need I say more? I know you bought this one, Scott. I'd be curious to know what you made of it. Being a lot younger than me, I'm looking forward to watching this. Basically to see whether it's as violent and nasty as I remember it being. I can't remember whether it was VHS that I saw this on, or was it DVD. I can't remember. It might even have been Super 8. That's how far back it goes. Yeah, I think it was Super 8, and it was one of those 200-foot reels where they condense all of the action into 8 minutes. And I'm pretty sure it was that. And that was my introduction to coffee. I remember it well now. So yeah, looking forward to watching that one. This is one that I got for my birthday. Late present. Jacques Tati. Now, you probably won't be familiar with this guy. He was a French comic, very, very similar in style to Mr. Bean. He did 5 or 6 movies, which are all included in this box set, which isn't even out of the cellophane yet. So I'm really looking forward to watching this. Monsieur Hulot's Holiday is one of my favourites. Absolutely brilliant. I haven't seen any of the others. I'm really looking forward to seeing these though. That's a Blu-ray box set. So yeah, that should keep me going for a while. Also had these magazines through. I get these every month, and they are cracking. Infinity, and there's some wonderful articles in this month, celebrating 40 years of ET, The Wild Geese Fly Again, looking forward to reading that one, Time and Time Again, exploring Irwin Allen's The Time Tunnel, Drawn Across Space and Time, the first Doctor Who comics. That's going to be great, but that's a cracking magazine if you want to subscribe to it. I think it's I think they've got a website. I think it's Infinity. It's about £25-26 for 6 weeks, 6 months or something like that. But I love that magazine, and that came with it, The Dark Side, which is all horror movies. Let's see, I don't recognise anything on this one for a change, but I shall have a flick through it later. So I've got that one through, and obviously my all-time favourite movie magazine, Empire, which it's a well-thumbed copy of this because I've been reading through it sort of all week, just getting bits and pieces of information. Now then, what else have I got here? Soundtrack of the week. As I say, it's not vinyl anymore. We're going to move on to CDs, but I will include the odd vinyl when I find one. Kess. This CD is only 19 minutes long. I didn't realise that when I bought it. But when you look at the film, there are only certain bits of music in it. It doesn't last very long at all. But I still love it. It's all flutes and clarinets. It's just a lovely soundtrack. It evokes the time, which was 1969 when the movie came out. But I like this. I have this on in the car sometimes. It's very relaxing first thing in the morning. Let's see now. Book of the week. Is this one? Watching the Skies. Now this is, let me see. Here we go. This pretty much sums it up. From the author of Catching Bullets, Memoirs of a Bond Fan, Watching Skies is a timely hologram from all our memory systems. It is about how George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, a shark, 2 motherships, some gremlins, Ghostbusters, and a Man of Steel jumped a whole generation to hyperspace. And it says at the bottom here, action figures sold separately. It's basically a memoir of somebody that grew up in the 80s and the movies, the science fiction and horror movies that they grew up with. I got this through this week. I love the sound of this. It just concentrates on movies like E.T., Close Encounters, Jaws, Gremlins, all that kind of thing. This is going to be a fascinating read. Can't wait to get into that one. And that is pretty much it, folks. There's some new movies coming out. I've been listening to Kermode and Mayo's take, and they've been reviewing some what sound like cracking movies that I really need to watch. Bodies, which is a kind of a slasher movie with a difference. Looking forward to watching that one. Crimes of the Future. This is David Cronenberg's latest. Now, David Cronenberg is the absolute master of body horror. I shy away from his movies usually. I remember his early efforts, Rabid, Shivers, The Fly. That was 86, I think, and they are pretty nasty, pretty nasty. And he specialises in sort of body horror movies like Dead Ringers, that kind of thing. And this new one is no different. So it's one I want to watch, but it's probably I'm going to watch it with the Sept. So I don't know. Age Daydream. This is supposed to be the ultimate documentary on Bowie. I'll pop the trailer for this onto the group a bit later on. But it's a 2.25 hour, basically a collage of everything that they could put in that Bowie did, and the difference between this and the movie that came out earlier this year. I can't remember the name of it, but it was supposed to be a Bowie biopic and it failed miserably. The people who made Age Daydream actually had access to Bowie's archives, the music and all that sort of thing, which wasn't granted to the people that were making the biopic. So this looks a very special movie, which I'm definitely looking forward to watching. And one called The Forgiven with Ray Fiennes. Know very little about it, but it certainly sounded good from what Mark Kermode was saying. He was quite impressed with it. So that's another one that I need to take in. Right, that is it for this week, folks. I have bored you long enough. I think we've come up to about 1.25 hours, maybe longer. Will I be doing this every week? No, probably not. As I say, it depends what you guys give me to work with. If you give me the stuff to talk about, I will sit here and prattle on for hours. So, right, thanks ever so much for joining me and for bearing with me through this extra long slog. If you've enjoyed the video, just give it a thumbs up and also subscribe. That would be absolutely amazing. I'll be back again next week with hopefully more of the same. Have a brilliant week, folks. Is it me or has it gone cold? I've actually got 3 layers on under this. It's not as brave as it looks. I know I'm sitting here in a t-shirt, but and no, I don't play rugby and I don't watch rugby. The company I work for actually sponsors Leicester Tigers, just in case you're wondering, which is why I got a t-shirt. But it is fairly cold. So, right, have a great week, folks, and I will be back again next week. As I say, thanks ever so much for joining me, and I will see you again next week. Take care. Ta-da.